to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on their official website, last reviewed the 20th of February in 2026, more than 1.8 million assaults sent a person to the emergency department, and over 20,000 people die due to homicide, over 15,000 of which were firearms homicides each year. This speech is to persuade people to agree that the death penalty is effective. In order to persuade you, I will discuss how the death penalty can lower the amount of dangerous criminals, act like a deterrent, and reduce costs to the state. Let's begin with how the death penalty is a deterrent. According to Daniel Nagin, who is a criminologist and statistician, and John Pepper, PhD in economics and a BA in quantitative economics and public policy, in their book Deterrence and the Death Penalty in 2012, it is hard to empirically tell if the death penalty acts as an effective deterrent because the rate of murders are influenced by many factors. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of research says that the death penalty isn't effective. However, they fail to account for other factors. According to Jonah Shepard, who has a PhD in economics and legal scholar, and is a legal scholar, in her article Deterrence versus Brutalization, Capital Punishment Differentiating Impact Among States in 2005, recent empirical studies by economists have shown without exception that capital punishments deter crime using large data sets that combined information from all 50 states over many years. The studies show that on average an additional execution deters many murders. This shows that yes, it can act as a deterrent. It's not going to deter all criminals though, because there's many reasons why criminals do what they do. Sometimes deterrence is not enough, and criminals hurt people anyway. When they get caught and arrested, they are thrown in prison. Unfortunately, it takes money to keep them in prison. Someone has to pay for their food and housing. There's court fees to worry about too. The death penalty removes all the additional costs from the equation and just makes it one massive cost up front. Worrisome people. The death penalty can save money, state money, by not having to feed and house these dangerous inmates. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing information relating to death penalty issues, on their official website, deathpenaltyinformation.org, last updated the 18th of March 2026. The death penalty court cases are very expensive, with a plethora of reasons why. Legal costs, pre-trial costs, jury selection, the trial itself, holding the defendant in a special facility because you have to keep them away from the general populace, and you can't really throw people on death row into the same prison as regular prisoners. And the last reason why is appeals. It is a big amount of money to worry about. It's only one-time cost though. And the reason why it's so expensive is because we need to make sure they actually did it. And if they didn't do it, well, we can't execute innocent people. According to the Department of Justice on the Federal Register website, federalregister.gov, on a notice released on the 6th of December 2024, the cost to keep an inmate in prison was on average $44,000 for the fiscal year of 2023. Now, break down the costs. Death penalty cases are on average 1.5 million minimum. It's a one-time cost. A life sentence has more costs added to it. The big one-time costs, which consists of legal fees, pre-trial costs, jury, the trial, the special facility holding fee, and appeals, cost $500,000. And then the yearly amount to keep them in prison, as listed earlier, was the $44,000. That means the first year it takes 544,090 for the first year alone. Year 10, $944,900. That is approaching the big one-time cost. It takes about 10 years to reach the one-time cost the death penalty gives. The average life sentence with parole lasts 25 years. You go over the $1.5 million within those 25 years alone. However, the de facto amount of a person who on life sentence usually gets is 40 years without parole. You really go past the 1.5 million one-time fee that the death penalty gives. This speech was to persuade that the death penalty is effective. In order to persuade you, I discuss how the death penalty can lower the amount of dangerous criminals, act like a deterrent, and reduce costs to the state. Note, not every criminal should get the death penalty. Only the worst of the worst. To make people safer and reduce costs to the states. This is a works cited page.